startını vermiş olacağız. Geçen yıl ilk kez düzenlenen ve bu yılda yenilecek olan WBGT uygulamasının sporcular için oldukça önemli olduğunu düşünüyoruz. Türkçe'de yaş tercüme sıcaklığı veya ısı indeksi olarak geçen sistemi geçen yıllarda da bu yılda bir kez daha uygulayacağız. Bu sistemi insanlara yalnızca havanın ne kadar sıcak olduğunu göstermek değil, aynı zamanda ne kadar sıcak hissettiğiyle ilgili daha iyi bir fikir vermek. Burada parkur boyunca yerleştirilen bayraklarla göstereceğiz. Bayraklar parkurun her 3 kilometresini kullanılacak ve sağlık direktörümüz aracılığıyla parkur içerisinde düzenli olarak ölçüm yapılarak bayrakların renkleri uygun olan sıcaklığa endeksli olarak değiştirilecektir. Ayrıca sporcuların bilgilendirmesi açısından etkinlik alanı içerisinde yer alan ayaklı toprakları gerekli bilgilendirmeler sizlere.
Oraya da kablo çekti adam.
Evet, 10K için atletler yerlerini almaya devam ediyorlar. Çok kısa bir süre sonra sizlerle birlikte startı vereceğiz. Türkiye İş Bankası İstanbul Yarı Maratonu'nda en yüksek katılımlı Yarı Maraton 15.000 namle bu büyük start alacak. Türkiye İş Bankası İstanbul Yarı Maratonu'nda şu anda başlayacağımız start noktasının tam karşısında Bakırköy istikametiyle bulunan finish noktasındaysa yarış sonlanacak.
Sana kalmışsın.
Nereye kadar gelebiliriz? Kafadan olabiliriz.
Yani şu mavi şeyi geçmezseniz sevinirim.
Tamam. Biraz da geride kalalım.
Evet. Abi. Evet evet. Abi. Kamera var ya. Senden çok uğraşıyorsun. 10 tane mi? Ya.
Ya da uykuya al. Ama orada bir olması lazım. Sen gitsen.
Ben geçeyim, siz verseniz olur mu? Tamam, teşekkür ederim. Eyvallah, Allah razı olsun.
Başlarsın.
İstanbul Gençlik ve Spor İl Müdürü Sayın Özkan, Spor İstanbul Genel Müdürü Sayın İş Bankası Genel Müdürü Sayın Sezgin Gül'e, İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Gençlik ve Spor Müdürü Sayın İlker Öztürk, Spor İstanbul Yönetim Kurulu Üyesi Sayın Ertem Aslanoğlu şu anda bizlerle birlikte ve çok kısa bir süre içerisinde startı vermiş olacağız. Onlarla birlikte İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi desteklerine dair başkanı Sayın Barış Yıldız'la yine startı verecek sizler arasında bizlerle birlikte.
Az daha yürümeyi kesiyorum.
Türkiye İş Bankası 19. İstanbul Yarı Maratonu'nda artık çok kısa bir süre kaldı. Ve artık son 2 dakika enerjimizi yükseltme zamanı şimdi Türkiye'de bir yolda Türkiye.
Devam abi. Biraz yakın kalacağız abi. Yakın resim yapacağım. Devam abi. Geçtiler bizi. Tamam, güzel güzel abi, sıkıntı yok. Arkayı da görürüm böyle. Devam et. Abi. Buzlar içtir. Tamam, gayet iyi. mesela biraz gidebiliriz yani. Bir tık önlerine, bir tık. Güzel. Devam abi. Tamam tamam. Biraz yakınlaşsınlar biraz. Güzel abi, bunu koruyabiliriz. Devam. Çok gitmeyelim, çok gitmeyelim. Güzel. Devam. Abi görelim kırmızıyı. Ekim Bey. Bir şey demediler. Ekim Bey. Tekin.
Bittikten sonra finişini orada kalacağım, seni kaybediyorum diyor. Tamam mı? Mutlaka finişin oraya gelmeye çalışıyor. Geçebilecek misin onu? Ama açılır ya bu kadar artık. 20 kilometre buralar açılır ya, aşağılar. Bul ya, buradan da atlarsın, geçersin. Çok daha var. Güzel tayfası ya. Bizi yağla. Bu tayfa burada bunlar var ya.
Well, good day to you and a very warm welcome to our coverage of this 19th edition of the Türkiye İş Bankası Istanbul Half Marathon. It's Sunday the 28th of April 2024 and the elite athletes, the very strong elite fields here in the Turkish biggest city in Turkey, I should say, about to get underway. Very strong lineups in the men's and women's races. I can tell you that 8 men in today's elite field have run under 60 minutes and another 9 with their personal bests under 61, and 7 women with personal bests under 68 minutes and 3 more under 70 minutes. It's 15 degrees centigrade, just about perfect temperature, although it's grey and damp. There was a lot of rain overnight. There are good pacemakers, of course, in both men's and women's races to try and ensure really fast times. And we must remember that the course records here are super quick. When Ruth Treppengetic of Kenya ran in 2021, she set a then world record 64.02 in the women's race. And in the men's race, well, just 2 years ago, Rogers Kwemoy of Kenya set a time of 59.15. Both of those are very, very tough targets. Kwemoy's run was extraordinary. He won by 50 seconds. And there was talk that back in 2021, when Ruth Treppengetic set that course record, remember 64.02, the winds were very, very favourable for the Kenyan and all the runners that day. Now, speaking of runner numbers, as we see these starting lineups of the elite athletes, today there is a record-sized field, the biggest ever entry here in Istanbul, 14,200 entries. There's already been a 10K that started off about 45 minutes ago, so they are done, and quite a few thousand are in that. But the total of runners today, 14,200. So the hope is that this is a big, big field here today in Istanbul. And they get underway then. This World Athletics Gold Label Road Race is underway in 2024. Well, the first edition of this race was back in 1987. It was called the Golden Horn Half Marathon. That lasted for 8 years, till 94, before shutting down for a few years. And it's had various versions come out over the years. But now it is one of the world's quickest marathon courses, one of the world's biggest marathons. And they are rightly very proud of this race. The marathon here in the city as well, the 45th edition took place last year. There will be a race again, of course. The 46th edition will be on the 3rd of November this year. If you've never run it, I advise you come here, of course, this astonishing city, the meeting ground of Europe and Asia. We are, of course, on the European side, although and they will stay on this European side, although the marathon every November starts over in Asia, crosses the Bosphorus, and then most of the race is in Europe, on the western side of the Bosphorus. Well, the pacemakers here are expected to go out at a good, hard tempo to set things up for the elite fields. And, as you can see there, Abraham Akopesha in the white vest is pushing along hard. He's a good athlete himself, ran 60.25 for a half marathon here in Istanbul back in 2015. But there are 3 pacemakers for the lead group. Well, the race here starts at the bus stop in Nikapi. It was an important trade centre during the Byzantine era. Actually, this whole start area is, most of it is reclaimed land from the ocean. Known as Neorion in that period, this area served as the heart of the city's sea trade. Byzantine shipwrecks uncovered just recently. So there on the left, Akopesha. He's a good athlete, as I said. He ran the 2:10 marathon in Paris back in 2017. Look out too for Edwin Kipkemoy Seko there in the orange. He's a strong athlete who will try to take them as far as he can. The pacemakers, well, why are they there? They help set up a nice steady tempo, get the athletes into the right rhythm at the right speed, and take the burden of leading through the first half, at least the first 10k and maybe further, off the athletes who are going to go the whole way. To the right there is Michael Mutai. He is 40 years old now. He's a great athlete. He's run 2:12, run many marathons. And we're looking here for a tempo of about 2:47 per kilometre. That will enable them to get home here in, well, that would be 59 minutes. That would be course record tempo. Conditions are good. Now, the only problem that could challenge these athletes is the wind, and there is a slight wind. Looks to me like it's coming from the west. It's coming, hitting the athletes from the right of the picture as you see it. The thousands pouring through the start line. Most of them are just out to have a good day. But these are good conditions. You can see the road surface is a really good, flat, safe surface. And that first kilometre, 2:50 in the men's race. Just about perfect. 2:50, well, that equates to exactly 60 minutes tempo. Well, that's a big pack. And there's good reason for there to be a big pack because there is such a high caliber field here. The men's field, well, as I said, there are 8 men here who have broken 60 minutes and quite a few others whose aspirations are to break 60 minutes. There you can see some of the leading ladies. Gladys Chepkurui, just to the left of the centre of picture there. And look out too for Ruth Jabet. There is Ruth Jabet just in the second place. Runs for Bahrain, the former Kenyan. She was the Olympic champion in Rio 2016 in the steeplechase. And she's still the 3rd fastest athlete in history at the steeplechase, the 27-year-old. Those elite athletes, well, they are pouring along the road now. They've been running for 4.5 minutes. But of course, in the back at the start line, everybody just easing through for their Sunday morning exercise and looking to have a good run here. This is a big pack. That's about 30 strong. I'm just looking there at all these athletes just settling into the rhythm here. Look out for Hisham Amgar in the white vest and the white sleeves, right in the centre of the pack there with Hisham on his vest. He's 29 years old, a Moroccan. Set a personal best last year in Ras Al Khaimah in the UAE when he finished in 5th place in February last year, 59.53. He's one of those who has gone well under 60 minutes for the half marathon. He's in good form too. Winner of the Marrakesh Marathon a couple of years back. His best 10k is 27.24. He's got good speed, has Hisham Amgar. That was in Prague in 2022. Of course, this pack will gradually thin out over the next few kilometres, but moving really well at the moment. And looking for a 2k time here of about 5:40, something like that. We're just waiting for that 2 kilometre split to be confirmed. Okay, 2k 5:39, so absolutely spot on. That's really good pacemaking by the athletes at the front of this field. Just looking too at other pacemakers here. Now you can see to the left of the group, that right-hand picture, this split screen shot, Paul. I think that's Paul Tiongic. who's a 33-year-old Kenyan. He's supposed to be pacing the second group. Well, it's really early in the race, and frankly, the first group are meant to be going out at about 2:47, 2:48 per kilometre. The second group at 2:50 per kilometre. So after a couple of kilometres, you wouldn't expect there to be more than a very few seconds difference between the two groups. There is Edwin Kemoy Seko, who is a great athlete in his own right. Now he plans to finish, we understand. He is the pacemaker, or one of the pacemakers, but he has said he plans to finish. And here, back in the further back, this is the women's leaders. Kipchoge is a 27-year-old Kenyan. He's looking to take the women along at about 3:07, 3:08 pace, and the target time is about 66 minutes. So I think they're pretty much accepting that the course record, that astonishing 64:02 by Ruth Chepngetich back in 2021, is out of reach. If they can get down towards 66 minutes today, that would be fabulous racing. But aren't they moving well? This is a nice pack, and you can see from the foliage in the background the old city walls protecting the athletes here from any wind about, but I think there's very, very little wind at all. This is a quite astonishing city. This is 8,000 years of history they're running through here in Istanbul. This lead pack moving really well and approaching 3 kilometers now. Well, there's just about 0 changes in altitude. There's very few lumps and bumps and undulations in this course, so it does enable the athletes to get into a good rhythm and stay in that rhythm. I don't think there's any wind about, but that's quite a tightly bunched pack, isn't it? You can look at the trees around them. There's absolutely no movement here. Back to this ladies' pack. And Gladys Chepkurui, who probably starts as favourite here. She missed her flight actually a couple of days of here and got here a day late, but at least she is here. She ran 8 half marathons last year. Gladys Chepkurui. Barcelona, where she set her personal best back in February last year, was the first of those 8, but she's really consistent. She ran that 65:46 in Barcelona, making her one of the quickest in the world last year, but she's also run a 67-minute last year, a 68-minute run. 4 times she ran 69 minutes. Really good, strong, consistent year of half marathon racing. Mind you, she's one of those athletes who is on the commercial circuit, a professional racer with fabulous form, but she has never run for Kenya. She's never had the privilege, the honour of putting on a Kenya vest. And that is the strange thing about Kenya. So many fantastic athletes, but the vast majority of them never get the chance to represent their country. Now, 3K in this men's race. 8:33. It's going really well. They're moving superbly. Projected winning time at the moment equals 60:09, so they're just outside the 60-minute tempo, but that I'm sure will come down as they ease into this race. That last kilometre was what, a 2:54, so it's slowed a little bit. They've gone 2:50, 2:49, 2:54, so yes, that the third kilometre definitely slowed a little bit. They need to keep the aggression there, this group of pacemakers. Akil Pesha in the white vest, the orange t-shirt there. Edwin Kemoy Soy plans, as I said, to finish the race. He is a great athlete. Last year, 13:32 for 5,000, but more importantly, 27:49 for 10,000. And he has run 61:10 for a half marathon. That was last year, but maybe he's got ambitions to improve on that. And then to the right of picture, that's Edward. Just checking. That's Edward Zakayo Pingua, I think. Yeah, to the right of picture. He's a 13:03 5,000 meter runner. That was in Rome a few years ago, actually, back in 2019. But he has run 60:44 in Lisbon last year, and I think where he finished second, I think today his big ambition is, you see a lovely shot of the old city wall there, I think his ambition is to make sure he can get under 60 seconds, 60 minutes, join that club. Well, Yeni Kapi is now way behind them. And back to this women's pack where you can see the main protagonist, Miriam Chebet there, looking very smooth indeed. Saw her early this morning with one of the officials. She came and knocked at my room door because apparently she was staying in it yesterday during the day before I arrived late last night, and she'd lost her chip, her timing chip, and they wanted to search the room under the bed and everything for her timing chip. I don't know if they found it or not, but Chebet here making her debut, and she's one of the dark horses here because she's had 3 very fast 10Ks this year. Can she run a fast time for the half marathon this morning? Her first ever half marathon, the 21-year-old Kenyan. We shall see. Good big men's pack this, but look how isolated they are. Nobody on the road behind them, probably about 30 strong, this pack. There is Cam Levins in that pink shirt towards the back, the pink vest towards the back of this pack. I was talking to Cam on the bus coming into the start area an hour or so ago, the Canadian. He is an absolute legend in Canadian athletics, of course, Cam Levins. Well, let's have a look at the history of this astonishing city. It's hosted various civilizations throughout history. Sarayburnu, part of Istanbul's historical peninsula, preserves its rich historical heritage and captivating scenery. It's a great opportunity to discover this historical point while running, frequently visited by both locals and tourists. Yes, of course, almost every direction you look in this city, there is some astonishing structure. Either one of the bridge over the Bosphorus or one of the mosques. The old city walls stretch for miles and miles. Well, 4K, 11:24 now in this men's race, 11:24. So that was a 2:49 as well, I think, that race, that kilometre. Oh, they're saying 2:51 actually in my computer, 2:51. So that's a projected time of 60:07. It's great to get these continual splits for this race. And as you can see, the road surface here very wet. There's been quite a bit of rain over the last few hours, the second half of the night, although I don't think that's affecting the foot strike of the athletes. They won't be slipping on this surface. Indeed, there is some evidence to suggest that the oxygen content of the air is better. Is actually more intense. There they go over the mat, the timing mat. He's trying to say to them that it's very important they go over that timing mat. It's a very narrow timing mat for a pack this big, and I'm sure some athletes there didn't record a split because they didn't go over the timing mat. The officials really needed to guide them over that mat a little bit better. But anyway, that was 5K in 14:20. 14:20 at 5K, and I can tell you that that has them on about, 60 minutes 30 pace. 14:10 would have been 2:50 per kilometre, and that's 60 minutes pace. So they're a little bit outside schedule at the moment. They need to push on aggressively, these pacemakers. It's funny, isn't it? Psychologically, you just want to ease back a little bit and feel a little bit more comfortable. But they need to keep the pressure up, keep pushing hard. And it hurts, of course. It's hard work. Many of these athletes will be redlining. They will be right on the limit of what they're capable of. Many of them, of course, will start dropping back, and they just will not be able to hold this. There's the pack, Akopesha, Aele and Seko. Of course, the pacemakers. Hisham Amgar is up there, the Moroccan. Matthew Samperu, Michael Mutai, Paul Tiongik. He's supposed to be a pacemaker for the men's second group, Tiongik. He shouldn't really be there now. He should be, well, about 10 seconds back. Then they are moving at something like the predicted pace for the second group, so maybe that would explain it. Trying to run the shortest line and all these little curves and changes. So just looking at the course of this half marathon, here we are. This is where they pass 5K, and they will take a right over this Galata bridge into Karakoy. slight drop as they make the left-hand U-turn at the other end of the bridge. So they take this right-hand turn. There's the Bosphorus in the background. There's the glorious Galata Tower. You can just see it to the left of picture. That is a fantastic structure. Hundreds and hundreds of years old, one of the great tourist attractions of the city. It's an old lighthouse in effect from the old city. But this is the elite field. What is that pack? Surely about 30 athletes in sight. Crossing the Galata Tower. The 6K point is right in the middle of the bridge. So they'll have passed that about now. And then they take a left-hand turn at the end of the bridge. So they just almost kiss Karakoy before they head back over the Golden Horn. The water that they're crossing, by the way, is known as the Golden Horn. It's like a tributary, small river that joins the Bosphorus. Here you go, spanning the Golden Horn and connecting Karakoy and Eminonu. This bridge is one of the rare bridges in the world with a tramway. Yeah, tramway over a bridge. Enjoy running along this route with views of both Karakoy, Eminonu and the Golden Horn. Well, the Golden Horn itself is the water that they're passing over. But you watch here, look at there, you can see top of picture, the U-hat, left-hand U-turn they have to negotiate here. This is a big pack. This could get a little tight here, especially in the rain. Let's hope they give it a nice wide sweep or somebody could go down. There's a slight rise here off the bridge as they accelerate some of them into this turn. Now, do they all get round this? Okay, it looks like it. Great shot there from the drone high above the streets of Karakoy. But almost immediately they will be back over the waterway of the Golden Horn. And heading back in there is just one of the dozens of glorious mosques that dot the city. And here is the Galata Tower. Quite magnificent structure. Much higher than it looks, by the way. It has this wonderful panoramic view across the city, across the Bosphorus, and can be seen from miles away. It was built in 1348 as a watchtower. Oh, I think I said it was a lighthouse, my mistake. As a part of the walls of Galata. Now, back over the Galata Bridge. And they'll take a right, sharp right, as soon as they get back onto terra firma. And we'll pass the 7K mark. So they've gone through 6K, and that time 17:06. So the split for that one, and 2:46. Apparently that can't be right. That's super fast. With the previous kilometre doing a 2:56. Anyway, the projected time is still 60:09. So they are back on schedule to run, hit almost exactly 60 minutes. And now the ladies, their turn. The women passing over the Galata Bridge. Just trying to see how many women are in this lead group. And it looks certainly like Sheila is there. Is one of the top women with ambitions in age, Sheila Chalangat. Sheila Chalangat of Kenya has a best of just 69 minutes, and I think she's moving at a better pace than that, so it'll be interesting to see where she ends up. Sheila Chalangat, she could be heading for a big personal best if she can hang in there with the leaders at the moment in this race. Now, Dinkelem Ayele there in the orange. He's looking comfortable too. Just tucked in the middle of that pack, the 23-year-old Ethiopian. He's got a best of 59:30. That was actually just a couple of months ago, less than that, when he came fourth in Barcelona on the 11th of February. So in the blue shorts there, he's looking very comfortable. And these pacemakers have got a great job to do here, a vitally important job to do, and they're doing it pretty well at the moment. And I think they might have accelerated. They've gone through 7K now in 1956, and that split was at 2:50. So they're okay. They're still heading for 60:06 is the projected time. And athletes are feeling the pressure. Look, bodies beginning to drop away off the back of this men's pack. Cam Levin's still there for Canada in the orange and black shorts, easily spotted because he's one of the very few non-Africans in this pack. Amgar of Morocco looking okay in the white armbands. A little bit busy in the middle of that pack. It can be tiring running in the middle of a pack like that, where you're just avoiding elbows and trying to make sure you don't clip somebody's heel. It's very easy to go down if you don't keep concentrating. Well, these athletes doing as good a job as they possibly can at the moment. The pacemakers staying at the front there, and in particular it looks to me like Akopesha is doing a fine job. Kipchoge is there too. That's a Solomon Kipchoge, I think. In fact, just double checking here, Solomon Kipchoge, 59.37 performer. That was in Lille last year, where he finished in 3rd place. This is the first race of his year. He's had no races coming into this. Here's one of the few undulations on this very fast course. They're approaching 8 kilometers now, and they're moving very nicely along the southern bank of the Golden Horn, with the Golden Horn waterway on their right. Now there's Sheila Chalangat, and Sheila Chalangat, well, just one of a massive Kenyans in this race. What is she, Sheila Chalangat? 26 years old, the Kenyan, her personal best, as you can see, 69.38. That was in Lille earlier on this year. And, Chalangat will certainly be in aggressive mood. 69.38 in the terms of true world class doesn't really quite cut it these days. She needs to knock off another couple of minutes off that to be mixing it with the best, but she's doing that so far here in Istanbul. It is a little bizarre. Nobody was really expecting the weather to be quite as damp as this, but the temperature is perfect. I can confirm for you it's about 15 degrees centigrade. It's not t-shirt weather, but it's actually rather delightful morning in the biggest city in Europe, Istanbul. It's a vast city. It's got 3 airports, and they are always busy. So, Biwot moving well. The Bernard Biwot we saw just now. And there is Dinkelem Ayele. He's a great track runner. 7:39 he's run for 3,000. He was a good junior too, running in his 9th half marathon here. He's very experienced. He ran 4 half marathons last year, including a 59.49 to finish 5th in Buenos Aires last August. So this is his favourite distance. And he said, Ayele, he's hoping for something close to 59 minutes today. Well, the course record, remember, 59.15. So the course record is a possibility. He believes his season's best is his lifetime best, 59.30. That was in Barcelona back on the 11th of February. So, at the moment, things going very nicely indeed. Just looking at that leading pack of the women. And also here, looking at Betty Jepkemoi Kibet, who looks to be struggling. She's dropping off the back of the group, and she's a good athlete. She's a 67.44 athlete. That underlines really how quickly they're going. Sheila Chalangat might be struggling to go with this tempo as well. Gaps appearing in the women's race as Kipchoge, their pacemaker, continues to push on. The other pacemaker for the elite women is Mohamed Kemal Jema of Ethiopia. But that little women's group, with just 25 minutes on the clock, is breaking up already. Now, in the men's race, 8K, 22.49. That means they've run a 2:52. They're not quite hitting the splits in this half marathon in the men's race that they wanted to. The predicted time, therefore, 60:10 at 8K. 9K, in fact, has just come up as well, 25.47. So that was a 2:58, and I think that's because there was a slight climb in that one, and that drops the predicted time to well outside 60 minutes, 60:26. So somebody I just feel, as they're approaching halfway in this half marathon, needs to get the bull by the horns and really start aggressively wrestling the pace upwards. The main protagonists can't be expected to do that really. Amgar looks quite comfortable, doesn't he, in the white vest for Morocco. 29 years old, Amgar. 59.53 for 5th place in Ras Al Khaimah last year, and then he was second here last year in 59.58. And he won Marrakesh back in 2018 in 60.23. He's gradually improved up to top world class as Amgar. As we see these athletes now, they will approach 10K very shortly, expecting 10K to come up in a good time. Situated on the shores of the Golden Horn, the colourful and historic neighbourhood of Balat, known for its multicultural structure and steep, narrow streets, gets its name from Palation, meaning palace. Balat continues to preserve and perpetuate Istanbul's rich historical and cultural heritage and is one of the most colourful points of our world record race course. So Balat, then. One of the fabulous neighbourhoods along the Golden Horn. Now these athletes, these elite athletes, are approaching 10K in the men's race as they pass unknowingly through the historical neighbourhood of Balat. And there's still, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, about 17 or 18 in this lead pack, I reckon. But they're not quite hitting the splits that were wanted. It doesn't look like there's much wind about, I have to say. One of the problems when you get a really strong field of top athletes and there's good prize money on the line is that they will, to some degree, watch each other. Now there's 10K, 28.42, I got that at, give or take, according to the clock on screen. 28.40, in fact, coming up on our computer here. So that was at 2.53. It's still not quite down where the organisers would like it to be. Now, of course, with a couple of quick kilometres clicked by, the projected winning time can come down very quickly. There's still a great chance of them going under 60 minutes here this morning. Fastest time in the world this year set 3 weeks ago, 58.24. That was a new course record in the Prague half marathon on a very warm day there. So the 10K checkpoint has been passed. You can see Dinkelem there. Dinkelem Ayele in the orange for Ethiopia. Just having to restrict his arm movement. It was just getting a little bit tight for him. So there's that leading pack. You can see Kimtai, Seko, Samperud, Kipchoge, Kipyatic, Albert Rop for Bahrain, Kipchirche, Benal Biwat, Dinkelem Ayele, Kipngetic, Bute, Amgar of Morocco, Kip Koech and Kimakal. So it's a big, big pack moving really well. And what we've got here today, rather than a pack that is chasing super fast times and perhaps a course record, we've got a wonderful race unfolding here in Istanbul. 30 minutes on the clock has just clicked by, so they are more or less at the halfway point of this half marathon, maybe just past that halfway point. 28.40 it was at 10K. You can see some of the old city walls to the left of the picture. They stretch for so many kilometres. One of these days I'd love to go for a walk. There must be an organised walk around the old city walls because they stretch for miles and miles, and they are quite magnificent in places. Very high, very, very deep, very wide. So this is where they come to the left-hand U-turn on the Golden Horn. You saw Amgar there grab some of the furniture, the street furniture on the road, and you see they're trying to get them all around that mat, and they'd have been better off pushing that to the left of the road as we look at it, because they turned that sharp corner, and of course many of them wanted to swing wide. I'm not sure they all crossed that timing mat, but that timing mat of course is at about 10.7K, and it's what you call in the industry of race organising a cheat mat, because where there are big U-turns you want to make sure that people have gone out to that peninsula of the course, reached it and done the U-turn and crossed the mat. And if they don't cross the mat, well of course they could have taken a U-turn somewhere earlier on alongside the Golden Horn, as is the case here. So they're just approaching 11k then, and these kilometre splits have been coming out at 250, 252. Then there was a 258 in the 9th kilometre, then a 253. So they've just gone through 11 kilometres in 31:35, according to Helmut Winter's fabulous timing system. And that was a 255. It's slowed again, so 60:34. They just are not hitting their straps as yet here in Istanbul this morning in this men's race. So, Dinkelem Ayele, we've talked about him already, and he is in wonderful form. 59:30 in Barcelona just a few weeks ago. He ran well in Lisbon, won the Lisbon half marathon back on the 17th of March, and it was a warm day, and he ran 60:36 there. It wasn't perfect conditions. That was a big win, by the way. Lisbon is one of the great international half marathons. He ran 4 last year. This is already his 3rd this year after 4th in Barcelona and the Lisbon win. So Dinkelem certainly amongst the favourites there in the orange vest to the left of picture. Look out too for just looking. Oh, here we go, back to the women. So Sheila Chalangat, 26-year-old, 31:08 at 10k. And Betty Chetkamoy Kibet, 31:24. Kibet is a 67:44 runner, so she's not having a great day. But Sheila Chalangat at 31:08 looks to be in the lead at the moment. And at 10k, yeah, 31:08 is confirmed. Just checking what that projects her towards. For halfway, and certainly that has it down there at a good quick. That's around 66-minute tempo. Sheila Chalangat running very aggressively, the 26-year-old at the moment, having a great run, and has broken away in that women's race by the looks of things. But now somebody has got impatient here, and it looks like Dinkelem in this men's half marathon, well past halfway. Dinkelem Ayele has had enough. He looked like he was holding back to me for the last 15 minutes or so. He's got good heritage, this fella. 11th in the World Junior Cross Country back in 2019. He's got really good leg speed. He's run 7:39 for 3,000 3 years ago. And so he has to be confident, doesn't he? Sheila Chalangat, though, well, she's entering new territory here. What's happened to the likes of Gladys Chetkarui, a 65-minute performer, or Zeray, 66-minute performer in Ras Al Khaimah last year, Afenigus, Betlehem Afenigus of Ethiopia, 66-minute performer in Paris last year. At the moment, this is really strong, aggressive running by Sheila Chalangat. She's got her own pacemaker there, who was under orders to push on. Well, Dinkelem shook up this group a little bit, and from some 17 athletes a few minutes ago, we're down to 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 athletes, I think, now in this breakaway. as we get into this third quarter, deep into this third quarter of the Istanbul half marathon, this 19th edition of the Türkiye İş Bankası Istanbul Marathon. You get the feeling that this third quarter of the race was where the gloves have come off and things are beginning to get very serious. Now, they went through 12k in 34:23, and that was a 2:48, and that is the fastest split of the race so far, back down to 60:27, and they, I have the feeling that Dinkelem here ran really hard to break up the pack and thin it out a little bit. Might have eased back a little bit. You can see Amgar in the white working hard. He's got a lovely galloping style, hasn't he? The black shorts to write a picture. The white vest of Hisham Amgar. 29 years old, he's moving well. Looking around him, he was looking at the faces of those there. Interesting though, just to see tucked in at the back of the pack, Cam Levins, who is a fabulous track runner, indeed one of the best track runners in this race in the past. He's run 27:07 for 10,000 meters on the track. That was back in 2015. But more importantly, this last 2 or 3 years, he's become a major factor on the marathon scene. He's got enormous strength, Cam Levins, the Canadian. In the back there, in the orange vest, the only non-African in this pack. He was 4th at the World Championships in Eugene back in 2022. In the warmth of Eugene, Oregon and the Pacific Northwest, he ran 2:07, a national record, and then last year in March ran 2:05 to improve that national record with the 5th place in the Tokyo Marathon, one of the world marathon majors. And I just think that Levins, who said he's been up in Font-Romeu in the Pyrenees training for the last couple of weeks, so there's no jet lag, having flown over from Canada, from where he's based in Eugene, Oregon, where he's Portland, Oregon, where he's based. No jet lag, he got over that a couple of weeks ago. He has every chance here of causing a bit of an upset, does Cam Levins. He's a wonderful racer, natural racer. So 13k, 37:12. Now, what was that split? That was a 2:49, so they have racked it up. 2:48 and 2:49, the last 2 kilometer segments. The projected finishing time now is 60:23. It's gradually homing in on 60 minutes. And Amgar maybe now has had enough. Perhaps he felt the pace was easing a little bit. As we see Sheila Chalangat on the far side, looking quite comfortable and pushing on her own. Chalangat with that pacemaker has quite some advantage because she has a personal pacemaker. She can simply focus on working with that Kenyan compatriot. Here she is. Looks good, doesn't she? If she knows she's put the opposition to bed, so to speak, she's got the race won. She just needs to hold her form. Things happening in this men's race. So 13k and 37:12. And they're approaching 14k, just gone through 14k, and you get the feeling, don't you, that Amgar Dinkelem Ayele in the orange was pushing earlier on. Then Amgar hit the front for a few hundred meters. Dinkelem has moved up alongside him, so the two of them beginning to dominate this. Gemechu looking strong as well. That's a Gemechu Bute, the 22-year-old. Gemechu Bute, whose best is 60:12. That was in Ravenna in northern Italy last year, where he set his personal best with a 3rd place finish. In fact, just checking, no, he was 3rd this year in Ravenna back in February. He was 2nd last year when he set that personal best, so he enjoys that Italian race. Gemechu tucked in behind Dinkelem and Amgar, Hisham Amgar, Dinkelem Ayele. I like it. I like that personal touch of putting the Christian names on the first names on the numbers. In the background there, Anthony Kimtai is still there. Ayele looking like he's working a little bit here. Gemechu Bute. Well, not a great deal known about him, apart from those two fabulous runs in the last couple of years in Ravenna. But now this race is really thinning out. 41 minutes on the clock. We're at the approaching the business end of this 19th Türkiye İş Bankası Istanbul Marathon. And Amgar, well, this could be one of the biggest wins of his career if he takes this one. He was the winner of Marrakesh back in 2018. I'm not sure how many other big wins he's had against fields of this caliber. But he's certainly going well at the moment.
Çok temiz abi, güzel. Biraz hızlanabiliriz sadece.
And looking at Anthony Kimtai as well. This little pack, breakaway pack of 4. You get the feeling perhaps now that the winner will come from this group. Others struggling in the background there. You can see Bernard Biwott. He's back in 5th place. Bernard Biwott, well, he's a 59.44 athlete. That was in Santa Pola last year. Amgar in the white vest, making his first race of this year. And last year, well, he ran a national record on the roads in Al Kobara. He ran 13:16 for 5 kilometers. He ran a 59.53 for that personal best with a 5th place in Ras Al Khaimah last year. And then he came 2nd here in Istanbul. So he knows this course, he's confident of it, and he ran 59.58 for that 2nd place last year, and he's pushing here now to improve 1 place is Hisham Amgar. 43 minutes on the clock, and Hisham Amgar is making a bid here to break this little group up. It's only just come down to 4 men, but they've gone through 14K in 39.58. That was a 2:45. That's the fastest split of the race, and that brings the projected time down to 60:13. And then they've just gone through 15K as well in 42:43. That 42:43 was with another 2:45 split. They are rocketing along now. They have accelerated markedly, and that brings the projected time down to 60:04. And now, for the first time today, as they enter the final quarter of this race, the sub-60 projection is possible. There's the little group. Amgar of Morocco, Ayele in the orange shorts is Gemechu Bute, and Anthony Kimtai is there as well, the 25-year-old Kenyan who's giving a wonderful account of himself. He was 2nd in Naples earlier on this year. That was in February this year. In the Napoli Marathon, 59:45. So he too knows he's in good shape. And confidence is a wonderful thing. If you know you're in good shape, you've been producing big results in big races, to move on to your next race, you always have that strength of mind, that strength of purpose. You know your training's going well. You know your racing's going well. Well, the current leader in the women's race is a bit of a surprise, I have to say. Sheila Chalangat taking it to the opposition here. And just checking Sheila Chalangat's form. Well, she's has a one title. She won Kenyan title. She was a World Youth bronze medalist back in 2015 over 3,000 meters. So she does have good speed. She's an 8:36 3,000 meter runner. That coming in 2021. She's also run 14:40 for 5,000. That from Chalangat coming in 2020 in Ostrava in the Czech Republic. And at 10K on the road, she's run 30:55. So she's got all the calibers, or qualities I should say, necessary. And that's 69:38 personal best for the half marathon in Lille on the 17th of March. No wonder she's going well here, because she's got great track speed, great road speed over 10K, and she is due a massive improvement over half marathon, and she's heading for it here, Sheila Chalangat. Could be heading down to around 66 minutes as we look at this little pack in the men's race. Pack of 4 locked together. Amgar is trying to break them. He's working really hard here. 45.37 at 16k. That was at 2:54, so they slowed significantly there. That put the projected time at 60.08. And as they approach 17k now, it looks like Anthony Kimtai is dropping back. He's had enough. We could be down to 3. He's hung on so much, so well, to get pulled away from the rest of the pack. That's no mean feat. It's a big achievement, but it looks like he's going to miss out on the rostrum, because now the pressure is being applied by Hisham Amgar, who's doing a great job here of just gradually turning the screw, gradually keeping the pressure up on these other men. Dinkelem, mind you, Dinkelem Ayele looks comfortable, doesn't he? In the blue shorts to the right of picture, checks his watch. They all look pretty good here. Now there is a danger here, as they're in this 17th kilometre, of them just easing back a little bit and watching each other and running a cagey game. I'd like to see one of them really push on hard aggressively and try and break the others and push through this third quarter to get the finishing time down below 60. And I have to say that the man who's doing most of the work is Hisham Amgar at the moment. It's his first race of 2024. He comes here fresh. Probably been training up in the Atlas Mountains at Ifran, a big training centre that the Moroccans use and many other athletes go to as well. Getting back to Sheila Chalangat here, the 26-year-old. Lovely looking runner, isn't she? Long legs, moving well with those yellow shoes, standing out against the grey skies of Istanbul. It's not one of those glorious spring days with sunshine and a nice breeze coming off the Bosphorus. I think it's fairly still out there. I don't think there's a lot of wind. But Sheila Chalangat moving well and leading at the moment. And here is Miriam Chebet. Now she's back in second place, Miriam Chebet. She's making a debut here, Chebet. With another of the international men there, Mitya. Don't know who he is. And a kick here, a very visible kick from Amgar. The Moroccan has had enough. He's decided it was slowing a little bit. 48.21 it was at 17k. That last kilometre at 2:44, the fastest of the race. And Amgar now has thrown the gauntlet down. This is his push. This is his challenge for victory. Second here last year. He doesn't want to finish second again or third. He wants the win. And he's doing a wonderful job at the moment of challenging the men behind him. Dinkelem Ayele back in third place, glances over his shoulder. I think he's had enough. That effectively is throwing in the towel. When you look over your shoulder like that, it's telling the opposition, I'm worried about what's behind me, not what's in front of me. And only Gemechu now can deny Hisham Amgar victory. Gemechu Bute hanging on to this push from Amgar, this attack. Aggressive attack too. The split for this 18th kilometre is going to be spectacular. But he has kicked in really hard here as the Moroccan. Grimacing with the effort here, the intensity of the effort. But I have to say, somewhat ominously, Gemechu Bute, back behind him, is looking very strong indeed. Looking pretty relaxed. Looks to me like Sheila Chalangat has got the win in the bag because she's moving really well. Bosphorus in the background has a little bit of movement on it, suggests there is a bit of wind about. But it is nonetheless, I think, a good day for road running. Amgar allows himself a little glance over his shoulder there to see what sort of damage he's done. And the answer is, well, he's done for Ayele, I think, who's trying to hang on there in third place in the orange vest in the background. But certainly, Gemechu Bute of Ethiopia, the 22-year-old, is hanging onto the coattails of Amgar here. And what he's got to do, Amgar, is just keep working away, keep pushing, one effort after another, after another. You've got to tell yourself, I've got one more attack, I've got one more attack. And he's trying so hard, he's working hard with his arms, isn't he? He has a really galloping style, quite a high knee lift, does Amgar, but it's effective. He's crossing the ground really well. And you can see how hard Bute is working to stay with him. Here is the 22-year-old Ethiopian. He's never broken 60 minutes, but he may do here today because these last few kilometre splits have been really fast. 51.07 at 18k, and that last kilometre at 2:46. So they have blasted this last 5k. Look at the split. So 14k. The 14th kilometre at 2:45, then a 2:45, a 2:54, a 2:44, and a 2:46. It's been a vicious, vicious last 5k. Amgar has done most of the work. Sheila Chalanga, well, she moves beautifully, doesn't she? Lovely, relaxed, long stride she's got. We know she's a great track racer. We know she's great over 10k. She may yet today produce a massive improvement on her personal best in the half marathon. Hisham Amgar too, well, his personal best is 59.53. That was from Ras Al Khaimah last year, where he finished 5th in February 2023, just over a year ago. So I think he could be heading for an improvement of that time here today. They're approaching 19 kilometres, and he's got to keep working hard here. At 15k, well, it was Biwat who led through from San Pedro. Cam Levins, 42.52. His challenge has wilted under the onslaught here from Amgar and Dinkle Mayele. They put the effort through together. James Kipkoech and Solomon Kipchoge, 42.54 at 15k. Solomon Kipchoge, 42.54 at 15k, heading for something probably around 61 minutes, but 53, nearly 54 minutes on the clock. Amgar here, just got to keep working for another 6 or 7 minutes. He looks well conditioned, doesn't he? Really pushing hard with the arms. Working harder with the arms than Gemachu Bute in the background, that's for sure. Bute 60-12 in Ravenna last year. That could be due for improvement. As we see Sheila Chalanga, who has caused a bit of an upset here today, there's no doubt about that.
Evet, böyle çok iyi abi. Orta şerit devam.
And that gap is growing. Left of picture, you can see Amgar still grimacing, still working really hard to try and beat Bute. The women have gone through 15k, by the way, in 47.09. Just checking what that represents. 47.09 at 15k for the women. It should bring them home in around, yeah, about 66.5 minutes, something like that. That would be great, great running. Certainly would be a huge improvement for Sheila Chalanga. .47.09 for Chalanga. And there's her lead over Chebet, 47.43. She's got a huge lead over Chebet. Crikey, that's what a 34-second lead. Adaro is back there. Chepkemoy, Betty Chepkemoy, Kibet. Bethlehem Afanigas, more was expected of her. Gladys Chep Kadui was the pre-race favourite, 48.25. She's about a minute and 20 behind, almost a minute and 20 behind Sheila Chalangat here, who I think is heading for something rather spectacular, a massive new personal best. Now back to this men's race. And Hisham Amgar with 56.5 minutes on the clock, still looking strong. Bute in the background, unable to respond to this.
Çok güzel böyle.
But Bute, what, about 30 meters back? Bute, when he produced that run in Ravenna last year, finishing in second place. And I think he's going to finish second here today. He's got no real track form as Bute. He's run 28.39 for 10k on the roads. He's relatively inexperienced compared with Amgar, who's been around a lot more longer. It's the first race of his year. Bute in second place. Amgar, well, first race of his 2024 racing year as well. And in the background you can see Dinkelem Ayele of Ethiopia has caught his compatriot. Bute going through a bad patch, and Ayele in the orange vest moves into second place. Now is there a chase on to try and catch Hisham Amgar of Morocco here? It's a late challenge from Dinkelem Ayele. He's gone through 19k in 53.51. That was a 2:44 split, Amgar. That again equals the fastest split of the race. 20k in 56.39. Well, that was a 2:48. He's kept up the pressure. The splits coming through these last few kilometers have been super fast. A couple of 2:44s, 3 2:45s. He's really been blasting it. It's been a race of two halves, effectively. They got to 10k, remember, in 28.40. That had them on a schedule of around 60.30 for a finishing time. He makes the final turn at Yenikapi, in the Yenikapi district, the final left-hand turn. 300 meters to go, and watch the clock. This has been a fabulous run from Hisham Amgar. He could well be heading for a new personal best here. Surely he's going to get under 60 minutes. In the background, the battle goes on. Dinkelem Ayele into second place. But I think he's going to run out of road if he's trying to catch Amgar here. He's left it very late. In fact, there in the orange vest, right to picture, just saw Dinkelem Ayele have a little glance over his shoulder. He's run 59.30 on paper, a little bit quicker than Amgar, but this is Amgar's day. This is going to be a win for the 29-year-old Moroccan in fabulous style. He's done so much of the work through this second half. He's worked for this. He deserves this. It's a brilliant run from Amgar. This will be surely the biggest win of his career. Winner of the Marrakesh Marathon back in 2018. But he is the champion of this edition, this 19th edition of the Türkiye İş Bankası Istanbul Marathon. In his time, unofficially, 59.48 there. Absolutely brilliant. 59.55, perhaps unofficially, for Dinkelem Ayele. And Amgar congratulates Gemachu there for his third place. He finishing just outside 60 minutes, I think. And the rest of them come pouring through. And we'll give you confirmation of those top men as soon as we can, while we go back to the women's race where Sheila Chalangat has carved out a famous victory here. This has been quite superb from the Kenyan. Her personal best certainly didn't reflect her abilities at 10k and on the track in years gone by, but now surely she's going to have a time here to compare with some of the best in the world. I think she's going to improve by 2 or 3 minutes here on the roads of Istanbul, and she's had good help here all the way through from this pacemaker Kipchoge. And it's been such a great race for her. Once she'd broken away, she had that confidence of knowing she could beat those behind her. They were not going to get her. It's been a well-judged effort from Sheila Chalangat, and part of me wonders why she's not run faster in the years gone by. 69.38 in Lille. That was back only about 6 weeks ago. But just looking at Sheila Chalangat's card, well, she's run many 5,000s on the track in years gone by. Her best is 14:40. That is world class. She's only run the one half marathon. That was in Lille. So this is only her second half marathon ever. And wow, has she run to good effect here. In Lille, she finished in second place 6 weeks ago. Well, she's applied herself well and run on strongly here today to break the opposition very early in the race and push on to what is undoubtedly going to be a very quick time. She's not going to threaten the course record, of course. That was 64.02 by Ruth Chapin-Gedich back in 2021. It was a world record at the time. In a fabulous race, she beat Yalam Zofia Hualor into second in 64.40. Helen O'Beary was third in 64.51. In fact, it was the first women's race ever where the first three got under 65 minutes. Well, the rain is pouring down here. 62, almost 63 minutes on the clock, and some of these other elite men are coming through now. So, little glance over her shoulder there from Sheila Chalangat, but I'm not sure it's necessary. It has been a truly dominant performance. Quite different to the men's race in a way, because in the men's race there was a great tussle, wasn't there, over those final few kilometers between Ayele and Amgar, and getting involved in Gemechu Bute, who just dropped back in the last kilometer or so and just failed to break 60 minutes. He's never broken 60 minutes, and he hasn't done it today, but it was nonetheless a fabulous run from him. Oh, Sheila Chalangat, the style now becoming a little bit more ragged, those arms flailing across her chest, but she's got a lovely long stride still. She's a very relaxed runner. That hair in her ponytail behind her, flapping around in the grey, oxygen-rich air of this wet day here in Istanbul. What sort of time is she going to produce? It's going to be fast, there's no doubt about it. She's looking quite superb, is Sheila Chalangat. She's an athlete with a great record at 5,000 on the track and at 3,000 as well. 8:36, her lifetime best for 3,000 meters. She's world class at 3,000 and 5,000 and 10,000 on the track. And now she has converted that really well into half marathon racing and a time that will be comparable with the best in the world this year. Of course, the half marathon is the sweet spot for a lot of top racers. And it's not easy to get into the top 10 in any event these days. The fastest time in the world this year is by Joycelyn Jetkoska. That's 64:29. That came in Barcelona back on the 11th of February. But depending on the time she can run here, Sheila Chalangat, she could well penetrate high into the top 20 of the world this year. She's negotiated that final left-hand turn. She's now just got a few hundred meters to go. There we go, 300 to run. She's going to be under 67 minutes. There's no doubt about that. This is going to be a brilliant run from Sheila Chalangat. It's going to be a massive personal best, 69:38. She's going to lock something like 3 minutes off that. Well, to get into the top 20 in the world, she has to break 66:53. She's going to do that easily. She's got about 200 meters to run. And Kip Koech here has done a fabulous job as pacemaker for her.
Salıyorum ben artık.
She charges on towards the finish line. She can see it now. The crowd here around the finish line roaring her on. Kipkoech moves aside as she comes towards the line. It has been a truly dominant run for the 26-year-old Kenyan Sheila Chelangat. She is the champion in this 19th edition of the Türkiye İş Bankası Istanbul Marathon. And 66:47, unofficially there, the winning time for Chelangat. That is a huge, huge improvement on her personal best. Almost 3 minutes, lopped off her lifetime best. And 66:47, if it is confirmed, just checking, puts her 18th on the world list this year. And conditions are not ideal. It's a nice temperature here in Istanbul, but these wet roads make you slip a little bit. About 67:14 there for Miriam. And that is Miriam Chebet having a great run from her. That is a new personal best for her by about 30 seconds as well. In fact, just checking, excuse me. No, that was her debut. That is some debut. 67:14 unofficially for Chebet. We're still waiting for the third placer to come in. 67, nearly 68 minutes on the clock, but wow, what a debut by Chebet, who's run 3 fast 10Ks this year in Ibiza, where she ran a personal best of 30:40 back on the 28th of January. She was 6th in Castellón in February in 30:56, and then 3rd in Paris some 3 weeks ago in 30:41. We knew she'd got the credentials, we knew she was strong and fast at 10K. There is third place coming through in the women's race. Just trying to see who that is. I think that might be Zaray. Dor Zaray, is it? No, in fact, it's just checking. Zuditu Adoror. Zuditu Adoror. She's come home, what, about 68:30. Something like that. Those are our first 3. And then for Tor comes through Zerai and Betty Kibet. Well under 69 minutes. That's a good packing at the front end of this half marathon this morning here in Istanbul. Conditions pretty good, but no athletes choose to run on the soaking wet road surface. There's always a little bit of slippage. And then coming through there, I think for 6th place is Ruth Jabet of Bahrain, the Olympic champion in the steeplechase in Rio back in 2016. She actually served a 2-year ban for doping between February 2018 and February 2020, but she's back racing now. 3rd fastest steeplechaser of all time, Abrash Shilima, the 22-year-old. She's crossed the line there as well. She's well in the top 10, but she's a long way outside her best. She's a 67:28 performer. She's about 2 minutes outside that today, so it's not gone well for her, the 22-year-old Ethiopian. And yet another woman just eases through under 69:59. Well, what a day of racing it has been here in Istanbul. The 60-minute barrier going in the men's race quite spectacularly through the aggressive front running of Hisham Amgar. Let's have a look. Here in Yeni Kapı, the Sea of Marmara to the right of the athletes as they got underway. This was the 10K earlier on this morning. They started at 8:30. This is a race where there is not really an elite field. It's mostly local runners, but 1,000 running in this one. enjoying good conditions on this Sunday morning. And the great thing about having a run out, a good hard run out on a Sunday morning early on, is you've got the whole day in front of you to get back home, to have some good food, some good drinks, read the papers, maybe watch some sport on TV, maybe watch coverage of yourself on TV. It turned into a great battle between these two. Apologies for my not knowing the names, but the winning time just outside 33 minutes, some way off international class, but it was nonetheless a great race. And then the half marathon with the truly strong, in-depth elite fields getting underway at 9:15, 45 minutes later. The elite fields here featuring 8 men who have already broken 60 minutes and 7 women who have broken 68 minutes. We knew it was going to be quick. We knew it was going to be very competitive. But it was a race of two halves in the men's race as the thousands crossed the start line. They got underway at a good, healthy tempo, but then they settled down into a rhythm that was a little bit slower than was expected in this elite men's race. The front pack, a huge pack. It was in itself perhaps an indication that they weren't pushing so hard. They got through 5K in 14:20 with a series of kilometers only just inside 3 minutes. And then 10K was reached in 28:40, and still a big pack at that point, and the projected winning time at halfway was around 60 minutes 30. In the women's race, well, the pack broke up far more quickly. We didn't see a great deal of it in our coverage. The focus tended to be on the men's race mostly, but the women's race, well, one athlete rose to the fore very quickly in only her second ever half marathon, and that was Sheila Chalangat. As they crossed the Galata Bridge into Karakoy at 6.5K. So this massive men's pack were moving well, but only still on a tempo just outside 60 minutes. The pacemakers did a solid job. The Galata Tower, hundreds of years old, built in 1348, peered down upon the racers as it has done year after year in the great half marathons of Istanbul and the great marathons around this wonderful city. But the athletes themselves, well, they're too busy. They're too intensely racing to admire the wonderful culture and architectural history of this city. They were racing through to halfway. They got to 10K in 28:40. The projected time there, still 60:28. And one got the impression there was a bit of impatience from 1 or 2 men in that lead pack. But it was, first of all, Dinkala Mayel of Ethiopia who kicked hard, and then Hisham Amgar through the latter stages, broke clear and pushed on to a comfortable victory and a new personal best. He came here with a best of 59:53, and his unofficial winning time today for Hisham Amgar, 59:48. In second place, Dinkala Mayele made a late challenge to come back from third into second place. He too running under 60 minutes. I got him at 59:55, still waiting for confirmation of that. And then Gemechu Bute settling for third place. In the women's race, well, it was quite totally different. Not much real racing going on, so much as total domination from Sheila Chalangat. She improved here down towards 66:47, unofficially her winning time. Brilliant running from Chalangat. It was a personal best by almost 3 minutes for the 26-year-old Kenyan. She broke clear around halfway and was never headed, never saw anybody else, and had a very, very comfortable winning margin. I got her winning margin at something approaching 30 seconds from Miriam Chebet, who came through, yes, a couple 100 meters behind her. And their confirmation of the results. Hisham Amgar, 59:47. That was indeed his winning time. Dinkala Mayele, 59:55. Gemechu Bute, just outside 60 minutes. But for him, that was a personal best nonetheless. Anthony Kimtai, Bernard Biwott, and Solomon Kipchoge, the best of the Kenyans in 4th, 5th, and 6th. And as you can see, the first 8 men well under 61 minutes in Istanbul this morning. But for Amgar, that was a really characterful performance. A personal best at 59:47 by 6 seconds. And he did so much of the work. If he could have been dragged through with more racing going on, pacemakers perhaps further into the race, I'm sure there's plenty more time in the tank for Amgar. He can improve on that. Dinkelem Ayele, well, he's a 59.30 performer. He'll be pleased to get under 60 minutes again, but it wasn't to be an improvement today on his personal best from last February, where he was 4th in Barcelona. And Gemachu Bute, well, as I said, a personal best for him, 60.03 by some 9 seconds. He's only 22, still learning his trade, Bute. But Anthony Kimtai, the best of the Kenyans, and Kimtai, he's a 59.45 performer, so he will be disappointed to finish some 30 seconds or so outside his personal best in 4th place. There, Bernard Biwat, 60.18. Well, his personal best, 59.44. Again, he's over 30 seconds outside his personal best. And Cam Levins, 60.38. Well, he's heading for the Olympic Games marathon in Paris this coming summer, so he'll be pleased with that form. Not under 60 minutes on this occasion, Levins. Indeed, his personal best, 60.18. He's only 20 seconds outside that. So Levins there, 7th in 60.38. It's a good, solid run as he continues to target the Paris Marathon at the Olympic Games. There are no pacemakers, of course, remember, in Paris at the Olympics. Championship racing is a very different beast to commercial racing where there's pacemakers. Levins will go into Paris with growing confidence from this run here today. James Kipkoech in 8th place, 60.43, the last of those under 61 minutes. Waiting for confirmation of those women's times now, but that was certainly very impressive running from Amgar, the Moroccan. I think becoming the first Moroccan to win this race, certainly in recent years. 59.47. Anything under 60 minutes is fabulously quick running. Of course, the men's world record, well, that sits now at 50, just over 57 minutes to Jacob Kiplimo of Uganda. And now a chance to see that women's top 10 as well. And as you can see, Chila Chalangat, 66.47 is confirmed. Brilliant running from Chalangat. Miriam Chebet, 67.14. That's really solid as well. Sadutu Adaro, 68.17. 68.17 for her. And then in 4th, Zerai, 68.39. Same time as Betty Chepkamoy Kibet. So the first, the first 7 under 69 minutes here today. Really great racing on the women's side. Great strength in depth. And the first 9 under 70 minutes. Meseret Dinke in 69.53. The last to get under 70 minutes with Anchinalu Desi on 70.12 there. She will be a little disappointed with that. She's a 67-minute performer. That was in March last year. But that represents wonderful racing from the women here in Istanbul in 2024. The first 2 under 68 minutes. The first 7 under 69 minutes. Really fabulous strength in depth. And congratulations to the organisers. Massive thanks too for all the volunteers who have helped out today to make the racing possible in the 10K and the half marathon, for the 14,200 who entered the races here in 2024. Good running still going on as these male athletes continue to cross the line. Some 80 minutes on the clock now. But it has been a fabulous day's racing here at this 19th edition of the Türkiye İş Bankası Istanbul Marathon. 15 degrees centigrade, grey, damp, a lot of rain overnight, a lot of rain falling this morning and over this last hour. But that didn't stop the athletes in their thousands enjoying great racing here in Istanbul. Well, my name's Tim Hutchings. I've really enjoyed coverage of this superb morning of racing, this Sunday spring morning. You wouldn't know it was spring, would you? But I've really enjoyed my commentating on this Istanbul half marathon. It's been great having you with us. Thank you for staying with us through this coverage. And we'll be back for more in November when the Istanbul, the 46th edition of the Istanbul Marathon, comes back on the 3rd of November. And if you want a marathon to enter, to run in, you could do a lot worse than coming to Istanbul, one of the most fascinating cities in the world. And from that fascinating city, from all of us, I'll say bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Sence?
staying here, Cecilia? Or are you coming?
I'm not sure. I'm looking for Danny.
Çok yağdığında geçirir de yani. Güzel bir çok yağdı. Çok yağdı. Belediye kaçta gidiyor.
Çekiş nasıl şu an? Yayın.
Alkışlar bir kez daha onun için. Şimdi de kıymetli protokolümüzle birlikte toplu bir fotoğraf çekimi gerçekleştireceğiz. Bugünün anısına sporcularla birlikte. Genel klasmanda kadınlarda Türkiye İş Bankası 19. İstanbul Yarı Maratonu'nda 3. Zevdutu Aderov, 2. Miriam Çebet ve şampiyon Şeyla Çelangat. Ve genel klasmanda erkeklerle devam edeceğiz. General Classification Award Ceremony for the Men category. Erkeklerde 3. olan sporcu third place Gemecu Bute.
Efendim abi. Geldi abi, şimdi laptopu indiriyorum. Tamam abi, şimdi indiriyorum.
Second place, 2. sıra Ayela Dinkalem. First place, 1. olan sporcu Amkar Hicham. Öncelikle 3. olan Bute Gemecu'ya ödüllerini vermek üzere İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Spor İstanbul Genel Müdürü Sayın Renay Onur'u sahneye davet ediyorum.
Bana yarayacak geldi, deneyeyim mi? Abi tamam. Tecrübelisin hocam.
Halil abi, benim kanala çıkma. Ses yolluyorum.
Kupası ile birlikte 8.000 dolarlık para ödülü ve çiçeği takdim ediyor Sayın Renay Onur. Alkışlar Bute Gemecu için. Ve şimdi de 2. olan Ayale Dinkaleme ödüllerini vermek üzere Türkiye Atletizm Federasyonu Başkanı Sayın Fatih Çintimar'ı davet ediyorum.
Söyledim abi, açıyorum. Evet abi. Alttan çalsın diyorum. Şu an geliyor abi. Geliyor olması lazım.
Kupasıyla birlikte 10.000 dolarlık hediye çekinim ve çiçek takdimini gerçekleştiriyor Sayın Fatih Çintimar. Türkiye Atletizm Federasyonu Başkanı 2. Ayele Dinkalem oldu. Güçlü alkışlar Ayele Dinkalem için. Ve şimdi de 1. olan sporcuyu alkışlarla kürsüye alacağız. Amkar Hicham. Ödüllerini vermek üzere İstanbul Vali Yardımcısı Sayın Ünal Kılıçarslan'ı sahneye davet ediyorum. Amkar Hicham 59.47'lik dereceyle tamamladı. Türkiye İş Bankası 19. İstanbul Yarı Maratonu'nu. Kupası 15.000 dolarlık para ödülü ve çiçek takdimini İstanbul Vali Yardımcısı Sayın Ünal Kılıçarslan gerçekleştiriyor. Güçlü alkışlar Amkar Hicham için. Lütfen Renay Bey ve Fatih Bey'i de Sayın Valimize eşlik etmelerini rica edeceğim. Genel klasman erkeklerde Üçüncü Bute Gemecu, 2. Ayele Dinkalem ve şampiyon Amkar Hicham. Alkışlar onlar için. Kadınlar Türk tasnifli ödülleriyle devam ediyoruz. 21K'da kadınlarda 3. olan sporcu alkışlarla Dilan Atak. İkinci olan sporcu Remziye Erman. Ve birinci olan sporcu Özlem Kaya. Ödüllerini vermek üzere Türkiye İş Bankası Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın Bahattin Özarslan Türk'ü sahneye davet ediyorum. Üçüncü olan Dilan Atak. Ödüllerini alıyor. Ve şimdi de ikinci olan Remziye Erman'a ödülleri takdim edilecek. Üçüncü olan Dilan Atak'a 20.000 Türk Lirası para ödülü kupasıyla beraber çiçek takdimi ve sponsorumuz Soundcore'un kulaklık hediyesi verildi ve şimdi de ikinci olan Remziye Erman'a 25.000 Türk Lirası para ödülü kupasıyla beraber kulaklık ve çiçek takdimi gerçekleşiyor. 1.20.49'luk derecesiyle tamamladı yarışı ve birinci olan sporcu Özlem Kaya. bin Türk Lira para ödülüyle birlikte Soundcore'un kulaklığı, kupası ve çiçeği takdim edildi. Türkiye İş Bankası Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın Bahattin Özarslan Türk tarafından. Alkışlar sporcular için gelsin lütfen. Üçüncü Dilan Atak, ikinci Remziye Erman ve birinci Özlem Kaya. ...21K'da Türk sporcu tasnifi erkeklerle devam edeceğiz. Erkeklerde üçüncü olan sporcu Hüseyin Can. İkinci Ramazan Özdemir. Ve birinci olan isim Ali Kaya. Sporculara ödüllerini vermek üzere Türkiye İş Bankası Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın Şebnem Aydın'ı sahneye davet ediyorum. Öncelikle üçüncü olan Hüseyin Can'a ödülleri takdim ediliyor. 21K'da Türk sporcu tasnifinde hem kadınlarda hem de erkeklerde İş Bankası özel ödülü aynı zamanda bu kategori. 20.000 Türk Lirası para ödülü Soundcore'dan kulaklık, kupası ve çiçeği takdim edildi ve şimdi de ikinci olan Ramazan Özdemir'e ödüllerini takdim edecek Sayın Şebnem Aydın. 1.03.48'lik derecesiyle tamamladı yarışı Ramazan Özdemir. Kupası 25.000 Türk Lirası para ödülü Soundcore'dan kulaklık ve çiçeği takdim edildi. Ve şimdi de birinci olan sporcu 1.02.42 ile Ali Kaya. Alkışlar onun için. 30.000 Türk Lirası para ödülüyle birlikte kupası, sponsorumuz Soundcore'un kulaklığı ve çiçek takdimi gerçekleştiriliyor Ali Kaya'nın. Türkiye İş Bankası Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın Şebnem Aydın'a çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Üçüncü olan sporcu Hüseyin Can, ikinci olan Ramazan Özdemir ve birinci Ali Kaya oldu. Türk sporcu tasnifinde erkeklerde ve ödülleri takdim edilmiş oldu bu şekilde. Türkiye Yarı Maraton Şampiyonası kadınlarla devam ediyoruz. Üçüncü olan sporcu kadınlardan Dilan Atak. Üçüncü olan Dilan Atak oldu ve ikinci olan sporcu Remziye Erman. Ve birinci olan isim Özlem Kaya. Üzere Türkiye Kayak Federasyonu Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın Zafer Dumlu'yu sahneye davet ediyorum. Öncelikle üçüncü olan Dilan Atak'a madalyası takdim ediliyor. 1.23-27'lik dereceyle tamamladı Dilan Atak. Ve ikinci olan Remziye Erman 1.20-49 derecesi, tebrik ediyoruz ve birinci olan Özlem Kaya 1.13-32 ile Türkiye Yarı Maraton Şampiyonası'ndaki ilk 3 derece. Hep birlikte alkışlayarak tebrik ediyoruz sporcuları. Türkiye Kayak Federasyonu Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın Zafer Dumlu'ya teşekkür ederiz. Teşekkür ederiz. Tebrikler. Türkiye Yarı Maraton Şampiyonası erkekler kategorisiyle devam ediyoruz. Üçüncü olan isim 1.05.09'luk derecesiyle Hüseyin Can. İkinci olan isim Ramazan Özdemir. Ve birinci Ali Kaya. Ödüllerini takdim etmek üzere İstanbul Vali Yardımcısı Sayın Ünal Kılıçarslan'ı sahneye davet ediyorum. takvimi gerçekleştirilecek. Türkiye Yarı Maraton Şampiyonası erkeklerde 3. Hüseyin Can madalyasını İstanbul Vali Yardımcısı Sayın Ünal Kılıçarslan'dan alıyor sporcular. Ve 2. Ramazan Özdemir. Ve şampiyon isim Ali Kaya. Hep birlikte alkışlayarak tebrik ediyoruz. Hüseyin Can, Ramazan Özdemir, Ali Kaya. Türkiye İş Bankası 19. İstanbul Yarı Maratonu'nda 10K genel klasman kadınlar ödülleriyle devam ediyoruz. Kadınlarda 3. olan isim Ninar Hüseyin. İkinci İlkim Ardıç. Ve 1. Valeria Petrova. Üçüncü olan Ninar Hüseyin'e ödüllerini vermek üzere İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Gençlik ve Spor Müdürü Sayın İlker Öztürk'ü sahneye davet ediyorum. Ninar Hüseyin kupası ve sponsorumuz Soundcore'un kulaklık hediyesi takdim ediliyor. Sayın İlker Öztürk'e çok teşekkür ederiz. Kendisini bir süre daha sahnede ağırlayacağız. Ve şimdi de 2. olan İlkim Ardıç'a ödüllerini vermek üzere Türkiye Milli Olimpiyat Komitesi As Başkanı Sayın Ali Kiremitçioğlu'nu sahneye davet ediyorum. Şimdi de 1. olan Valeria Petrova'ya ödüllerini vermek üzere İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Genel Sekreteri Sayın Can Akın Çağlar'ı sahneye davet ediyorum. Valeria Petrova 1. olarak tamamladı yarışı ve İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Genel Sekreteri Sayın Can Akın Çağlar ödüllerini takdim ediyor. İlker Bey ve Ali Bey'i de kendilerine katılmaya rica ediyorum. Bir fotoğraf daha rica edeceğim üçünüz birlikte olarak sporcularla beraber. Genel Klasman Kadınlarda 3. Ninar Hüseyin, 2. İlkim Ardıç ve 1. Valeria Petrova. Alkışlar onlar için. Genel Klasmanda erkeklerle devam ediyoruz. Erkeklerde 3. olan isim Kerem Baybatur. 2. İlaman Şinepesov. Ve 1. olan isim Bedri Şimşek. Üçüncü olan Kerem Baybatur'a ödülünü vermek üzere Türkiye İş Bankası Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın Şebnem Aydın'ı sahneye davet ediyorum. Takdim etmek üzere İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Destek Hizmetleri Daire Başkanı Doktor Barış Yıldız'ı sahneye davet ediyorum. Üçüncü olan Kerem Baybatur, ...34-33'lük derecesiyle tamamladı ve üçüncülük kupasını ve Soundcore'dan kulaklığını alıyor. Aynı zamanda ikinci İleman Şinefesov'un da ödüllerini takdim edecek. İkinci İleman Şinefesov. İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Destek Hizmetleri Daire Başkanı Doktor Barış Yıldız'a çok teşekkür ediyoruz ama sahnede bir süre daha ağırlayacağız kendisini. Ve birinci olan Bedri Şimşek'e ödüllerini vermek üzere İstanbul Büyükşehir Belediyesi Genel Sekreter Yardımcısı Sayın Erdal Celal Aksoy'u sahneye davet ediyorum. Ve birinci Bedri Şimşek 33.03'lük dereceyle birinci olarak tamamladı. 10K Genel Klasman Erkekler kategorisini, kupasını ve sponsorumuz Soundcore'un kulaklık hediyesini takdim ediyor Sayın Erdal Celal Aksoy. Doktor Barış Yıldız'dan da rica ediyoruz bu fotoğrafa katılmasını. Sporcuları hep birlikte alkışlayarak tebrik ediyoruz lütfen. Böylece ...8 kategoride ödüllerimiz tamamlandı ve saat 1'de... ...yaş kategorisiyle alakalı ödüller de takdim edilecek. Bizler İş Bankası 19. İstanbul Yarı Maratonu'nda bu kısmı tamamlarken... ...keyifli konserler de gün boyunca sizleri bekliyor burada. İş Bankası İstanbul Yarı Maratonu sürecinde organizasyonumuza katkı sağlayan isim sponsorumuz İş Bankası başta olmak üzere ana sponsorumuz Sportive, tedarik sponsorlarımız Çibo, Züber, Saf, Hamidiye, Fomilke ve Vambon'da araç sponsorumuz MG'ye, teknoloji sponsorumuz Soundcore'a, medya sponsorumuz Karnaval'a ve kit dağıtım alan sponsorumuz Kanyon Alışveriş Merkezi'ne spora ve sporcuya vermiş oldukları destekten dolayı teşekkür ederiz.
kişi olsa sen de şey yaparsın. Tek bir kişi de olsun ya.
Dönüşleri nasıl alabileceğim? Dönüşleri bir yere toplayıp dosya yapıyorum ya ben.
Dönüşleri kimde şu anda?
Şeyde.
Bünyaminler geliyor şu anda. Araba geliyor.
Yani şimdi daha bir dönüşte.
Tamam.
O daha değil olur akın akın bak.
Neyse yani onlardan bir geçmesi
Aynen.
lazım.
Onları da
Kayıp
alalım.
başı herhalde.